Hi everyone, welcome back to Hope and Coffee, where it has been an absolute minute since I've been on this channel. I do have my coffee. It is just a little bit of iced coffee with some oat milk, and that is about it because it is so incredibly hot today. But I have been doing a little bit of thinking about the Hope and Coffee channel, and over the past probably few months that I have taken a step away from it and been kind of focusing on my book channel, which is Coffee Books and Rain, which if you haven't checked it out, you're more than welcome to, but it's just book reviews really. It's one of the things that I love the most to do, and it's something that I really have a passion for because my background in my degree and such is literature and English composition, so reading and literature is always something that I love diving into. Well, for Hope and Coffee, I've kind of been mulling over what I've wanted to do. I wanted to have some sort of focus without being all over the place when it came to the articles that I was looking at. And I think what I want to talk about on this channel and kind of going forward is going to be dating and relationships. Now, I am not an expert in any way. I am not a professional dater. I do not have any sort of degrees or any sort of, credentialings. I am a single female who is in the dating scene, who has been in and out of it for several years after my divorce. Prior to my marriage, I was barely in the dating scene, and dating apps were not really a thing before my marriage. So but prior to that, mostly I met people in person. So was married, and then after the marriage, the only real way I had or knew how to meet people was either through work, which there were a lot of opportunities to meet people, but the people that I work with are mainly married, so that really wasn't a great option for me, or trying to find friend groups which could help me generate some sort of social interactions with people who were also in a similar single state. Well, that was not really working out so well for me either. So I turned to dating apps and that sort of thing. So currently I am still single. I have not been in a significant relationship in quite a while. The last two individuals that I dated absolutely shattered my heart, and they are terrible turds, and both of them know it, and both of them are horrible people who I hope never enter back into my life. However, I do think that I want this channel to be about not only the struggles with dating from this perspective of females, but also males. So I will try to find articles that are from the male perspective as well. We will try to dive into the effects of ghosting, to the different effects of how people do what do they call it, the little pebbling, where they give you just enough to kind of keep you strung along. There's another term that's coming along called roaching. I'm just learning about this one as well. And all of those sorts of things that kind of come along with the dating world, because as I was looking today, just today alone, I think I ran across no less than 5 or 6 articles with regards to just the dating climate in general. And I think that it's become quite a bit of a point of contention and frustration for a lot of people, because I don't think a lot of people know where to go when they don't use the dating apps, but the dating apps just don't seem to be working anymore. But my first article that I want to talk about today and in this episode is called, "Is There a Single Woman in the World Over 40 Who Is Not Gaslit About Her Love Life?" Now, this comes from The Guardian, and it was written by a lady named Melanie Tait. And I believe that's Tait, T-A-I-T. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this article because I'm going to try to maybe link it, or at least put a screenshot here of what the article kind of looks like, with the hopes that if you want to know more about it, you're welcome to go read it yourself. And I'll also try to link it down below as well. But it starts off by saying, especially for me, so I am an elder millennial, I am 42 years old, and again, I am currently in the dating scene. So I'm not saying I'm an expert. I am not. I am just currently in a position that gives me firsthand knowledge of all of this stuff, as I have currently gone through a lot of it. And yeah, so that's kind of where we're going to start. It says well-intentioned dating advice from your friends and family start to grate when you realize it's always directed at your psychological shortcomings. So I can't say that I've had a lot of, I guess, fingers pointed in my direction with regards to my personal preferences and choices when it comes to dating. I will say that probably the thing that is a shortcoming for me is I do tend to be attracted to guys who tend to be a little bit younger than me. My ex husband was 5 years younger than me. I think it's just my preference. It's just what I tend to kind of gravitate towards. I don't know if it's the fun nature. I don't know if it's kind of like sassy attitudes. I don't know what it is. But most of the people I've found in my own generation of being elder millennial, they're very set in their ways. They're very kind of stuck in the mud. They've already, quote unquote, lived their life. And by the time I'm coming along to maybe do some dating, they've either had kids, and that's fine, but married and divorced, and that's fine as well. But they seem tired and they seem jaded, even more so than I guess some of these younger individuals, which is maybe why I'm a little more attracted to the vibrancy in their personalities. Now, on the flip side of that, I do encounter a lot of younger guys who are just out there to have a good time. And that is completely fine because that's on them. I can't say that I'm like 100% looking for a lifetime, like long-term commitment right this very moment, because honestly, when people ask me on dating apps, what are you looking for? I'm like, well, I'm looking for somebody I can talk to. I'm looking for somebody that I actually click with. And in whatever way that means, that's what I'm looking for. And when they're like long term, short term, it's like, well, one, I don't hook up, so let's go ahead and take that off the table. It's like, that's not what I want. However, if you'd like to go have drinks or dinner or a cup of coffee or what have you, then let's just have a conversation and see where this goes. That's usually how I tend to like to start those sorts of things. Like if I feel like the text messaging is going pretty well, then that's what I tend to try to do. But it seems as though for many of these individuals who are women in my age bracket, age range, it seems as though they're being blamed for wanting too much and that it's off-putting. And I don't really know what that means because I personally, I want someone I can talk to. I want someone who's a partner and I don't have to like have a man-child in my house. I do not want kids, and so I do not want to have to try to raise a man or take care of him like a mother. Those are things that I will not do. If you would like to enter my life as a partner, then we can talk about it. But it's going to be a give and take in that sort of respect for me. I don't think it's asking a lot to say, hey, you take care of you, I'll take care of me. I'm fairly independent when it comes to like my finances and all the things that I need because I've been doing it for a while. I don't need you to take care of quote unquote my stuff. However, if we want to enter this as a partnership and as like a tag team duo, so to speak, then I'd be on board to see where it goes. Other people have been blamed for giving off a friend zone vibe immediately. Maybe because women are often blamed for being too friendly, being too flirty, or giving the wrong signals off the bat. If we try to be friends with a guy, they're immediately going to think that we're interested in them. And now it seems as though we're being blamed for immediately putting people into friend zones. well, maybe we're establishing boundaries better. I don't know what it is. I'm not 100% certain as to why it's saying they're giving off a friend zone vibe immediately. But maybe they're just trying to say, hey, let's get to know each other first before we like pursue anything else. Just because I want to like you as a person before I like you. I don't know. The next thing is quote unquote, if you just sleep with him, then maybe you'd find him attractive. Well, that sounds horrible. And how about we don't do that? Um, I don't feel like, I mean, if you want to, if that's what floats your boat, go for it. I mean, that's never worked out for me in the, like, in my general lifetime. I don't find that to be a method that I would even really want to go down. Um, Personally, like, I love a cute face. I love a guy that takes care of himself, that goes to the gym. I personally try to do that myself. I try to go to the gym or get some fitness, some cardio, some like free weights, body weights, what have you, about 5 times a week. So I would love if the guy that I'm interested in also pursues some level of physical activity that is comparable to mine. Um, but just because he's got a cute face does not mean I'm going to sleep with him. And just because maybe he's got a good personality also does not mean I'm going to sleep with him. But guess what? A good personality is actually going to get you further in my books than just a cute face. So I hope we can have a good conversation. And then another one is says, quote unquote, Nora Ephron movies have ruined you for life. Well, for one, I don't even know who Nora Ephron is, so I'm going to say I don't know what that is. Maybe that's a specific kind of movie like Nicholas Sparks books or something like that, or those sorts of things. But just reading through this article, I get it that these women are saying that it's hard to get out of our heads and stop thinking that we're the problem. Because I 100% have talked to my therapist about thinking that I'm the problem. Like, when it comes down to thinking about the different situations I've put myself into with regards to dating guys, the common denominator is, of course, me. I am the one who is choosing these guys to go out with. But according to this article, I'm being gaslit. But I'm also probably gaslighting myself a little bit by telling myself that maybe it's me and not the other way around. That there's not something wrong with the way I relate with others, but it's really more of a growing problem with regards to people in general. And that, like, so one person, she said she was describing an unsuccessful date with her friend Joe, and he barely talked, he barely asked her any questions. He brought along a friend, and the girl was given the ick. Like, you know, kind of like this, like, ugh, I don't want to see him again. And I've gotten kind of like an ick a couple times on a date before, and I'll kind of talk about that a little bit. Like, I think actually in some of my past episodes with regards to dating, like, I've probably talked a little bit about some of the icks I've gotten. But when her mom saw a picture of this guy that she had gone on a date with, and like she had already decided, I'm not going out with him again after this one time. No, she's like, the mom said, oh, he's gorgeous. And the girl was like, oh, well, no, like, I don't feel anything, like, it's not gonna work. And her mom was trying to convince her that, oh, well, do you think your dad was perfect when I met him? Well, that's not, like, it's not what this is about. Like, there is a level of compatibility that needs to be had. And maybe at this point in society, maybe at this point in our lives, we're just not settling for bare minimum anymore. Maybe we're not making do with, well, minimum levels are enough. And I completely support her not going out with that person again, because if you immediately on the first date are already starting to get the vibe that you don't feel compatible, that he's already done things, or she, like, if you are the male and she has brought a friend, and there is an article that I will talk about in another episode where a guy actually kind of I guess he pretty much did kind of a ditch because the girl brought her friend and then they tried to run up a big tab for the guy to pay. So we will talk about that later. But the thing is like when we decide to get out there and we go on a couple dates and we those sorts of things, we can kind of tell within a short period of time if we're going to be slightly compatible with these people. Sometimes we are, sometimes we're not, and that's just how it goes. But the thing is this article is about our family and our friends not really understanding when it comes to people in our age range and our age bracket that we've kind of sat with ourselves long enough that we don't want to settle for the minimum. Nobody should settle for the minimum or anything like that. We shouldn't just say, oh, well, this is a long-term friend that I have and I know he's interested in me, so maybe I should just date him because, like, he's here. Like, if you're not feeling anything for them, then you're just not going to be able to feel things for them, and that's how it's going to go. I liked this article and I appreciated this article because it helped me as a 40-year-old female start to not second guess myself on certain things. Now, again, my friends and family do not really like tell me, like, they don't like, oh, well, you should settle for this guy, or he's cute, you should go out with this guy. They don't really do that to me. I think they know that I have a very strong conviction about a lot of things, and they know I'm pretty smart when it comes to things, but I can be dumb about some things as well. So when it comes to certain dudes, they can tell me if they think he's a douchebag, and that is totally fine. If I listen, I listen. If I don't, then I don't. That's on me. But the thing is I really recommend you reading this article, reading a little bit more about Melanie Tate and her perspectives on this, because I felt like she understood kind of what it's like to go through the dating world right now, especially from the perspective of a 40-year-old female. But anyway, I hope you guys are going to like the direction that this channel is going with regards to pushing it down kind of a dating / relationship path. We're going to try to explore a lot of different aspects of it. Some of the mental ramifications of what ghosting can do. I've run across some articles about that because sometimes we talk about the ghosting, but we don't talk about like the trust issues that it can bring up later, but also scamming and relationship scams. We're going to talk about that as well, and some of those same trust issues that can come up with that. We're going to talk about just the issues that men have dating. We're going to talk about some of the issues women have dating and relationships in general, and some of the multifacets that relationships can, I guess, take. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you feel like this is something that you're going to enjoy. I hope you will stay connected with me by subscribing down below, because I really think this is going to be a very interesting journey. I know we have a lot of data and fuel, and I am just a girl on a mission to try to figure out what is going on in the wide world of dating. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you guys on the next page. Have a great one.